Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. Happy New Year and happy first Monday of NBA action. We're bringing you roughly a 9-game slate. There's a super early game that starts at 12 p.m. on the West Coast out here, the Knicks and the Sixers, but we'll be mostly talking about other games here. We've got 2 games for you and our player props, so make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Continue to follow along with us. Also head to thelines.com. There's where we can get all of our great written content about everything we're talking about here, and use the odds finder tool that you can go ahead and get shop those lines. Look at all those U.S. sports books available right there in front of you. Make sure you're getting the best juice on all these bets you make in the NBA. Let's go ahead and get into this slate for Monday, Nate, and then talk about this game where we've got the Lake Show in Charlotte.
Yeah, you got that early game, Knicks and Suns. It's a pick 'em right now. Jalen Brunson's going to be out. But then we get into the night games. Bulls +3 at the Cavs. Those teams just played a nail-biter in Chicago. Darius Garland's doubtful, though. For this one, Raptors +3 at the Pacers. The Lakers are going to pick them at the Hornets. Total's only 232 as we record this. We will get into that one in a second. Pelicans are +6 at Philly after beating the Sixers at home before the new year. Spurs +14 at the Rolling Nets. The Mavs are -7 at the Rockets. Nuggets are going to be in a back-to-back in Minnesota. They're playing Boston right now, so there is no lineup yet. The other game we break down, Hawks are +3 at the Warriors right now. Love that for them. Pistons +10 at Blazers. Heat +5 at Clippers to round it out. 232 seems like a very, very low total for the Lakers and the Hornets independently. But I feel like I'm being trapped into trying to bet the over there. I think a lot of people are going to bet it, and the number might be a lot higher by the time you see this on a Monday morning or afternoon. I don't think you should chase it any higher than 235, 36, but 232, that's a total that the Lakers have gone under just twice, basically since Thanksgiving. That they routinely just cruise past that, especially with Anthony Davis out. I mean, we're not even talking about he was out for all those games. Now with him out, defensive rating routinely around 125. They played 3 slow-paced games. 3 slow-paced games. And then they got back to their winning ways against the Hawks by playing at a 106 pace. Of course, LeBron putting up that historic line. And Russ almost having a triple-double as well off the bench. So Charlotte, the one thing that gives you pause is that at home versus on the road, their offense is way worse. So we've actually seen this back to the start of last season. They score 109 versus 113, and they allow fewer because they're playing at a slower pace at home as well. But they're no good at home, obviously, if they're not scoring, and they're just an up and down team that's built on scoring. So I definitely lean towards the Lakers here. LeBron hasn't played in Charlotte in either of the last 2 meetings, and that's why I believe the Hornets won both of those. With him out there playing the way he is, with the Lakers starting to show a little bit of signs of like understanding how to win some games without Anthony Davis. They've won 2 of their last 3, Atlanta and Orlando, and they have the second best fast break efficiency during that span, third best 2-point shooting, sharing the ball with 30 assists. I just don't see Charlotte doing any of that stuff. Of course, they're actually dead last in 2-point shooting at home. They're just going to live and die by the 3, and they've got some really erratic shooters out there. And then, again, when you look at a veteran team, there's a little bit of a rest advantage here. Lakers off since December 30th. They're 7-4 with a rest advantage this season. 2-0 as a road favorite when that's actually happened, if it happens, because right now the line is just +1 or even. And there's plenty of numbers to indicate the over still, of course. I mean, across the board with the Lakers, but I look at them just actually getting the win here, getting some revenge for the Hornets beating them in LA in a game that totaled 264, which again, it's like, how is the total so much lower for the second meeting here? You have any thoughts?
I'm so glad you asked. I just have one strong opinion, which is if you think the Lakers are going to win, then they're gonna have to score 120 points. Like, they don't win if they don't score 120 points. Period. In fact, I can't find a game that they won this year where they didn't score at least 119. So I'm gonna assume that that's been the case all season long. And really, most importantly, just look since AD went out, and we've got like 10 to 12 games to look at. And yeah, every single game that they have won, which has not been that many, but it's been enough to note. There's a notable trend that they have to score 119, 120 points if they want to do that. They've had some defensive games where they've had some pretty good defensive games as well, where they did beat their opponent by scoring 120 and only giving up 104, 106, 112. But we're still just, we're talking about a 232.5 total. So I want this to get to 236, and then I want to bet the under immediately is really what I want to have happen. And I feel really good about that. But if you are going to take the Lakers, like I said, then you might as well parlay that money line with the over at 232.5 if you can still find it at that number by the time you're watching this. And we might be wrong. People might, I can't see it. No, I don't know why I'm saying that. I strongly believe that people have bet this up by the time this video is out from 232.5 up to closer to 235. Like I said, 236. So there's a little bit of contradiction. I know, like right now, if you're telling me what to do with this at this exact offering of that the lines are at right now, as we record this on Sunday night, my favorite bet is the Lakers and the over. And I think I just like the Lakers in general in this one. And that's because of the fact that the way that the Hornets are bad on defense, and they've been a little bit better on defense than on offense, or at least expectations wise. You would think that once LaMelo came back roughly 8 or 9 games ago, you would have expected this offensive rating to go from the worst in the league to maybe closer to like, in the top half, or at least closer to 15th. But no, it's still second worst, third worst offensive rating in the last 7 home games. And since he's come back, same thing. Second worst defensive rating as well. And it's just a sort of rotation of wings that really don't give you much on defense at this point. Kelly Oubre could be good at defense, but it doesn't seem like he puts in much effort. I don't even believe he'll be playing in this one. He's still probably doubtful, but either way, like there's nobody coming off the bench that's necessarily going to be much better than that in that sense. Nick Richards has been a nice surprise as a backup center, but even he might be losing time to their other backup center whose name is currently escaping me, just because they're just sort of a turnstile after a while, and so that's the fear of taking an under. But like I said, once it gets to 236, I'll feel a little bit better about that, because I could see a game where Charlotte, the way that they're they're still playing at a little bit slower pace at home, like we said. Once they go from 4th fastest on the road to like 13th, at home, there's just no flow. There's no consistency to the offense. There's no consistency to the way that they're scoring, because there's no identity. There's a lot of unassisted field goals, because it's a lot of either LaMelo's getting the assist or he's putting it up, and that's really it. Otherwise, it's your turn, my turn between Terry and Gordon Hayward to a degree. So I've been watching enough Charlotte, unfortunately, because we've been talking about teams that they're playing against and being able to take advantage of them, which we've been doing. And I think I would just like to continue doing that with a Lakers team that looks to be pretty serious as they're playing on the road and taking this shit serious right now.
Yeah, I mean, LeBron is doing everything he can, coming off a line like that to win in Atlanta. Obviously a tougher spot. You talked about how Charlotte gives up points. I mean, in his last 2, they were both at home, but 37 and 34, basically shot 63% from the floor in both those games. So, yeah, I mean, it's just like a red carpet to the paint for him. They're giving up the 6th most paint points in their last 3. They allowed Brooklyn to shoot 76% inside the arc in their last home game. But that one did go under because the Nets can actually play defense. So, I mean, it's more just that the Hornets are likely to lose at home. They've lost 6 of their last 7 at home, 3rd worst offensive rating. They're 5 and 12 straight up on the season at home, 8 and 18 following a loss. I mean, this is a game the Lakers have to have before they head home for 2 more. I mean, they could lose their next 6 games after this, but I think we can trust them, LeBron, to not lose to like the Hornets twice in a couple weeks here, after we saw what he was able to do against Orlando and Atlanta.
Yep, and as soon as we have a bit more of a grasp on these player props, I might start eyeing both, obviously LeBron and Russ are the 2 guys you talk about. Maybe a little Russ triple-double in there. This is just a really great matchup for him, with nobody really to sort of combat his style of play on the defensive end for Charlotte. He's going to be coming at the point of that attack, right where LaMelo Ball is going to be playing his normal Olay defense. And so I would feel really good about him just taking it to them. And I like the way he's playing. And I haven't said very many nice things about Russell Westbrook in the last couple of 2 to 3 years since we started doing this podcast. But his plus 11 on the road in those last 7 roadies that you talked about at the beginning, I just really like what I'm seeing from, or especially the way that he played against Atlanta as well. I think it's a similar. There's nobody on the other end of that top of the defense to really get in his way before he gets ahead of steam. I think it's gonna be a similar concept here against Charlotte. So that is all the time we have for you in this one. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Check out the other videos we have up for you on this first Monday of 23. And until we see you next, happy betting.